and welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to be using this lovely Ankara fabric to make my kimono top. The fabric is about 2 yards and I've gone ahead to fold it into 4. So I folded it into 2, then folded it again. So I have 4 layers. So I have 4 layers of the Ankara, and then over there I have it folded. I have the front and the back piece folded there. I'm going to go ahead to pin it down because I'll be moving the fabric a lot to show you what I'm doing. Then I have my selvage up there and another selvage down there. I'll be starting by measuring my neck width and my neck depth. So I'll be using the neck width and neck depth for the back to cut this, and then I'll later adjust the one for the front. I'll be using 3 inches for my neck width and 1 inch for my neck depth. So I'm marking this black line to use as my starting line or to represent my shoulder line. Like I said earlier, I'll be measuring 1 inch for the neck depth and 3 inches for the neck width. So I'm going to draw a curve there. From the folded part of the fabric, I'm going to be measuring my sleeve length. So to get my sleeve length, I'm going to be dividing my shoulder measurement into 2. Then I'll add my sleeve length, and then I'll add my M allowance. So from that folded part, I'll be measuring my sleeve length, and I'll be using about 18 inches for this tutorial. Then I'll draw a line there. So on that line, at the top of that line, I'm going to measure 1 inch for shoulder slanting, and then I'll use my ruler to connect it back to the neck width. From where I have my shoulder slanting, I'm going to measure the opening for my sleeve, which is the round sleeve. So I'll be using 8 inches for the opening of the sleeve. Please, you can adjust all these measurements according to your body size. Also, from the top there, I'm going to be measuring my bust point length, which is about 11 inches. From the top again, I'm going to be measuring the length that I need. So if you're making a top, you measure the length. If you're making a short dress, you measure what you need. So for me, I used 40 inches for my length, and then I added my M allowance and seam allowance. So at the end of the day, I have about 40 inches as my length. So from the folded part, I'm going to measure the wideness. So I'll be using 10 inches for the wideness, and then I'll draw a straight line all the way down. Measure the 10 inches all the way down and draw a straight line. So on the line of the bust point, I'm going to curve that line into the line I drew for the wideness. So I want to make this line a little bit smaller, so I'm going to raise it up and connect it to the line of the bust point. So I'll be using that upper line. So now I'm cutting it out. So I'm going to slant the sleeve. So from the down part, I'm going to measure 0.5 and use my ruler to connect it back to the top and cut it out. I like to do this for my kimono because when you wear it and you drop your hand, if you don't slant it, the down part, the armhole part is going to come down and it won't look the same. But when you slant it, it looks the same when you drop your hand. So that is the reason. It is optional anyway. Now I'm going to remove the pin, and then I'm going to separate the two. So I'll remove one and use that for the back, while I continue with this one, which I'm going to use for the front. I'm going to fold it back, and then I'm going to measure my desired neck depth, which is around 5 or 6 inches. About 6 inches for this person is fine. So I'm just going to mark that line. It's just to guide me to know where the neck depth is going to be. So from there, I'm going to measure 1 inch on the folded part all the way down, and then I'll use my ruler to draw the 1 inch. So if you want the band at the front, if you want that band to be about 1.5 inches, you remove 1 inch the way I'm doing. But if you want your band to be bigger, you want like 2 inches band, at the center front here, you're going to remove 1.5 inch. So I'm going to connect the 1 inch into the 3 inches I used for the neck width. Then, because it has a funny shape, I'm going to like blend it a little bit. I'm just going to come out a little, about half an inch, and just blend them together. I don't want that funny shape, so I'm going to be using this front line. It looks better this way. I'm going to cut it out. Now I'm going to measure that front part. I still have the same length, the 40 inches. I still have the same length. So I'm going to put the tape rule where I have the fold. So this is the back piece. I'm going to put the tape rule, the 40 inches, at the edge of the folded part, and I'll use it to measure the neckline. So I have 44 inches, and I'm going to double it because this fabric is on fold. The front is 2 and the back is on fold, so that neckline is supposed to be doubled. I hope you understand. The front neckline is 40 inches, so I put that 40 inches and use it to measure the back neckline. So I have 44 inches, which means the back neckline is 4 inches. So I have 44 inches. So I'm going to cut that 44 inches times 2, which is 88 inches. So because my fabric won't be able to cut all the 88 inches, I'm going to cut 2 pieces of the 44 inches. So that is what I'm doing here. And then the wideness of this fabric I'm cutting is 4 inches, and the length is 44 inches, though I folded it into 2. So this is like 22 inches by 4 inches. So when I open this, it's going to be 44 inches. Please don't get confused. I folded the fabric so that it will be easy for me to cut. So now after opening it, this is 44 inches in length and then 4 inches wide, and then I'll cut 2 of this to give me 88 inches. I'm going to be putting my interfacing on the wrong side of this fabric I just cut. It's also called paper stay. So I'm going to be putting paper stay on it, and then I'm going to cut 2 of the paper stay because I have 2 of the fabric. So this is my jacket after placing the front and the back together. So after gumming the stay, I'm going to fold it into 2. So that part where I have my joining, I'm going to place that on the center back. I'll get the center back of the jacket, and then I'll place that joining, I'll place it on the center back, then start folding and start pinning it from the center back straight into the front part. You have to join your shoulders first before you can do this. So I've gone ahead to join my shoulder here, and then I'm putting this band, let me call it band, I'm putting this band from the neckline of the back, the center of the back, to the front. I'm going to do this same thing for the other side, and then I'm going to sew it down with a 0.5 inch. So I use the 0.5 inch to join my shoulder, and then the side also I used 0.5 to join the side. So that excess that is remaining, I'll cut it off after sewing. I'll make sure I join this first before I cut it off. I'll make sure everything is okay before I cut off the excess at the hem. So the sleeve, I'm going to go ahead and fold the sleeve, the two sleeves. Also, I'll fold the hem. After joining this band, I'll go ahead and fold the hem. I'll cut off the excess like I said earlier, and then fold the hem. Now I've done that, and this is what it looks like. I've gone ahead to sew the side, and I used half an inch to sew it because I want that armhole part to relax. And then I've gone ahead to sew my sleeve, and I fixed the band for the neckline. This is what it looks like. So from the shoulder, I'm going to measure where I want the pocket to start from. So you can measure from the shoulder to the under bust, about 2 inches below the under bust. I believe I used 17 inches. I'm trying to get the wideness of the pocket here and the length I need for the pocket. So I'm putting my hand to be sure that the hand can enter inside. So I'm using 5.5 for the opening of the pocket, and the length, the depth or the length of the pocket, I'm using about 6 inches. So these two pieces of fabric, I'm going to be using it to do the waistband. So I have 4 inches and about 36 or 38 inches in length. I have 2 pieces because my fabric can't cut it long. So I'm going to join it there by half an inch. After joining it, I'm going to fold it into 2 right sides facing each other, and I'm going to sew the edge with half an inch and turn it out the way we normally make band. So I'm going to use that to do the waistband, and then I'm going to cut this and use it to get the pockets. I have 2 pieces of this for the 2 pockets, so I'm going to fold them right sides facing each other. And then for the wideness, I'm going to be using 6.5 inches to cut it, though I need 5.5 inches for the opening, but I'll be using 6.5 because of the sewing allowance on both sides. I'm going to be using about 9 inches for the length of the pocket. I'll use ½ inch to fold the down part, while the top part I'll use 1.5 to fold the upper part. So at the end, I have 7 inches in length. By the time I use 2 inches to tidy the up and the down, while the side, I've explained before, I'm using 6.5. By the time I take half on both sides, I have 5.5 inches wideness. For that wideness, you can increase it. This size, I'm making it for a teenager. So for you as an adult, you will need about 8.5 inches. By the time you fold the two edges, you have 7 inches wideness. That is what we size your hand, 7 inches. For this teenager, 5.5 inches is okay. Her hand will enter. I hope you understand. So I'm going ahead to fold the top of the sleeve. I'm going to be folding 1/2 inch by 1 inch for the top, while for the sides I'm going to be folding half, and then for the bottom part of the pocket I'm going to fold 1/2 inch. So for the top of the pocket, I'm folding 1/2 inch by 1 inch for the top of the pocket. I'm folding it on the wrong side, and then I will edge stitch it. So I've gone ahead to fold the top of the pocket on the wrong side, and I edge stitch it. I also went ahead to fold the sides half inch, and then the down part of the pocket 1/2 inch. So I'm placing it where I marked initially, and then I'm pinning it down. Make sure you don't pin it with the back part of the fabric. So you open it and check, and make sure you're only pinning it on the front part of this jacket. After the front band, I'm leaving about 1/2 inch before the pocket starts, just to give it a little space away from the band. I'll go ahead, I'll take this on the machine and I'll sew it down by the side, the two sides and the lower parts. So this is the final look of the kimono top. It can be a top, it can be a dress, it can be a jacket, anyhow you want it. Also, the dress form is bigger than the teenager I made this for, so that is why it's looking fitted. It's supposed to be big on the body, but I have to use this dress form to show you what it looks like.
Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please kindly like, share, comment, subscribe if you're new here, and click the notification bell. Thank you.